news. We begin this morning with the dramatic escalation of tensions on the Israel-Lebanon border, with Hezbollah warning it could repeat yesterday's attack on Israel and Iran also planning assaults. Israel says it thwarted the scale of the Hezbollah attack by launching hundreds of preemptive strikes into southern Lebanon.
It also intercepted hundreds of Hezbollah projectiles fired into northern Israel, although some areas were still hit and damaged. Our Middle East correspondent Allyson Horn travelled to some of the affected areas and filed this report.
I'm in the Israeli city of Acre. It's about 20 kilometres from the Israeli-Lebanon border. And people here in this region are cleaning up after this intense Hezbollah attack in the last few hours. You can see in this house alone, parts of the roof have been torn off and structures have been decimated. Windows have been blown out, and that's a situation we're seeing in nearly every house along this street. You can see over here the windows have been completely shattered of this property. The residents here say it was a number of factors that led to this kind of damage. They say it was interceptions and shrapnel from Israel's missile defence capabilities that then caused some of the damage, but also the sheer impact of the blast from those interceptions of those Hezbollah rockets and drones. For example, in this building here, you can see every single window has been blown out by the impact and force of those interceptions as those rockets came overhead and were shot down by Israel's defence capabilities. The residents here are scared. They say that in some cases they were minutes from death, and they've recounted some harrowing examples of waking up in the morning to these giant booms as the rockets were flying overhead.
קמנו לבוקר קשה מאוד. היה אזעקה ב-5 ומשהו, 5:35. והספקנו לרדת למקלט. ואז היה בום אחד גדול. וזה את כל הבית, וזה התוצאות.
When I came, I saw all the glass in the home.
All the glass?
Yes, yes.
Mm-hmm.
All the house.
It had exploded?
Yes. When I came here, speechless. I can't say anything and I cry. I say, thank God. 5 minutes. Only. If I came 5 minutes before, I wasn't here.
This is the most extensive damage residents here in this city have experienced during the last 10 months of cross-border attacks between Hezbollah and Israel. But despite this, they say they will not be leaving their homes. They are fearful for what will come next, but they are defiant, saying the north is their home and they will not flee.
That's Allyson Horn reporting there. Well, quite a dramatic result, Michael, in the Northern Territory across the weekend.
What do you know about it, Bridget?
Yeah, nothing.
Fantastic job, by the way, on Saturday night.
Thanks, yeah. Look, it was a historic win, really, for the Country Liberal Party, which romped at home on Saturday night, a big change in the Northern Territory. And in the coming days, following a resounding victory for the CLP party in the weekend's election, we'll really be hearing more about the Chief Minister, Leah Finocchiaro's plans. Our reporter, Lillian Rangiah, joins us now live in Darwin. Good morning to you. How did the CLP leader Leah Finocchiaro spend her first day after that resounding election win?
Good morning, Bridget. And yes, as you'd probably recall from being in the Northern Territory for the broadcaster, there were truly some huge celebrations over the weekend on Saturday as Leah Finocchiaro swept to victory. But she wasted no time getting to work on Sunday, already meeting with the Police Commissioner, Michael Murphy, and a senior public servant to really set out her party's vision in government over the next 4 years. Now, the Chief Minister-elect really came to power on a tough on-crime crime agenda, and that's what she'll be focusing on over her first week in office. And she wants to have legislation prepared, drafted up, ready to go for the first week of Parliament to really sort of hammer in that tough on crime approach. So in particular, she's keen to have some bail reforms ready to go and wants to reverse key changes that we saw under Labor, including to the age of criminal responsibility, which she wants to reduce from 12 back down to 10. But once she's introduced all those tough on crime legislation, she'll also have her challenges set out for her in that there's some of the biggest inequalities in the Northern Territory. So in areas like health, housing and poverty, there'll be some really tough challenges for the Country Liberal Party to sink their teeth into as they take on government for the next 4 years.
So true, Lillian. So many challenges for the next government. We're still waiting on a couple of seats, I believe. So what will be the makeup of the next NT Parliament? And perhaps a few new faces from independents and possibly the Greens as well.
Yeah, that's right, Bridget. So the counting is still going and there's 2 seats, I believe, that are still being decided. But as it stands, the CLP has won 16 seats throughout the Northern Territory and it's really been a bit of a wipeout for Labor. The CLP in particular has won most of the town seats, while Labor has retained some seats in the bush. Some of the key ones still being decided include Nightcliff, which is the former Chief Minister Natasha Fyles' seat, and she looks perhaps set to win. She's ahead in the count for Labor there. But also Fanny Bay in the inner Darwin area is still being counted. And that's a contest between the CLP's Laurie Zio and the Greens' Suki Doris Walker. And that's important because if the Greens win there, it will be their first ever seat in the Northern Territory Parliament. So we'll wait to see exactly how the chips fall with that one. But there has also been another independent who's come to power in this election, Justine Davis, who's taken her the seat of Johnston away from Labor incumbent Joel Bowden. So there has been a little bit of a shake-up in terms of independents and the minor party potentially as well, Bridget.
Thanks very much, Lillian. Really interesting to see the kind of teal independent style wave going to the Northern Territory.
Yeah.
Just 1 seat, but will be really interesting to see in other state and territories what impact of independent campaigns we'll
It was
see.
quite noticeable indeed.
Yeah, yep. Hello, Em.
Hello.
What's going on?
Okay, so a fair bit going on actually. So new laws will come into effect today, giving millions of Australians the right to disconnect and ignore work calls and emails after clocking off. The federal laws protect workers in companies with 15 or more staff from being forced to take those calls or emails outside of their paid work hours. Workplace Relations Minister Murray Watt says the new laws enable workers to separate their work and home lives. Police are investigating after a 29-year-old man was killed in an early morning shooting in Parramatta. Paramedics treated the man, but he died at the scene and a crime scene has been established. Emergency services were also called to a car fire nearby in Granville overnight. Witnesses saw 2 people fleeing the scene, but it's not yet clear if the 2 incidents are connected. The brother of Australian Zomi Frankcom, who died in an Israeli Air Force strike, says those responsible should be prosecuted by Israeli authorities. 2 IDF officers were dismissed and 3 others reprimanded for the attack on the World Central Kitchen convoy. But in an interview to go to air on the ABC's 7:30 tonight, Mal Frankcom says the punishments were not sufficient given 7 innocent lives were lost. 48 new beds are opening at Adelaide's Lyell Mcewin Hospital today. Premier Peter Malinauskas says he expects all the beds will be full within 24 hours of opening. A total of 80 beds will be added by the end of next year. Birdsville in southwestern Queensland has endured its hottest August day on record, reaching 38 degrees yesterday. And the Bureau of Meteorology expects the hot winter weather to continue for parts of the country.
So it is peaking through those central areas of Australia, places like northern South Australia, parts of the NT, even southwest Queensland, seeing some temperatures up to 15 degrees above average. And we've certainly seen some August records broken over the weekend.
And Chris Hemsworth has played drums at Ed Sheeran's concert in Romania in front of 70,000 people. Hemsworth has been looking into the benefits of how learning instruments improves cognitive health.